because relationships are not supposed to be that hard. It's really not that hard. If your relationship is hard, you are in the wrong relationship. Period. Period. And I promise you, it is so much easier to fix your relationship as individuals than trying to force it as a couple.
Say that again, baby.
Hello, gods and goddess.
Start over. My bad, I wasn't ready.
All right.
All right.
Hello, gods and goddesses. Welcome to the Black and Abundant podcast, where we are talking all things Black excellence, Black abundance, and how our people can elevate in every area of their lives.
That's right.
We are your hosts. I am Nia, and this is my king, Jamal.
What it do, my people? What's goody? What's good, baby?
As you can see, we have a brand new setup. We decided to go with something a little bit more simple. We started to tear the wall. It looks so bad. We started to take the wallpaper down on the other wall, and it ended up like taking the paint off the wall. It looks terrible. But then we recognized that we could have just moved
We didn't have to do none of that.
No, we could have just moved to the adjacent wall, which is this one.
Yeah.
So we're here. But I hope that you guys like it. Give us some feedback. If you can't see it, go look at it.
Go look. For sure.
But yeah, sorry we skipped out last week. So here's what had happened.
Tell them.
Okay, so we spent like a good chunk of time. Okay, let me take that back. I spent a good chunk of time trying to get this new setup set up to the point where I was just extremely irritated. And we sat down to do the podcast, and I was already just pissed off. I didn't even want to do it no more.
Yeah, but you wasn't pissed off at me, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. So, okay. The reason why Jamal did not help is because I am a perfectionist, Virgo gang, birthday's in 2 days. But anyway, I'm a perfectionist and I like things done a specific way. I feel like I talked about the instance that we had where we put up that wallpaper and he put it up upside down, and I was like really mad. So he was just like, you know what? I'm going to let you handle it.
I learned my lesson from the last time, and I learned what battles to pick and not to pick for. So I learned a valuable lesson that time. So I was like, you got this, baby. For real.
So I did it. And yeah, I was just irritated. And then that was Thursday. And then literally the rest of the weekend, we have been running around like chickens with our head cut off. Like, we've been super busy. It got to Sunday and we were like, yeah, I think it's too late now to shoot a podcast.
For sure.
So let's just not. We went to Mobile. We got to participate in our friend's engagement. So
yeah, major shout out to my guy Rashad and his new fiance Jenna. Shout out to y'all. Congrats, man. We send much love and just wish y'all many more experiences and years to come filled with love. So shouts out to y'all, man.
Yeah, we've watched them grow into the couple that they are today. So it was an amazing experience, and we're glad that we were invited to go.
Yeah.
So we spent, honestly, because for us, that's a 4-hour drive. So our Saturday was pretty much shot. And our Friday, Jamal surprised me by getting my hair done. I don't know if y'all saw these inches, but I get my hair pressed like once a year.
Yeah.
So this was my once a year. And I'm just happy to see the health, the length.
Oh, she looked good, y'all. Like, god damn.
Stiff wear.
When I saw that for the aftermath of getting your hair done, I was like, damn.
Yeah, he been acting brand new ever since. He been super on me. Like white on rice. He been on me. I love it. I'm not complaining.
Anyway.
But yeah, we're at a place in our journey where I feel like as a woman I don't get to do as, or not necessarily that I don't get to do, but we're choosing to delay gratify a lot of my self-care things that I would like to invest in, like getting my hair done frequently. As you can see, my eyelashes are done, like my nails are done to prepare for a photo shoot that we did yesterday. Mm-hmm. But we're at a place in our journey where we're delay gratifying a lot of that because, you know, we're putting a lot of our money into building businesses and securing wealth for our future. Mm-hmm. So to see me all dolled up and dressed up and, you know, prim and prepped. You see Bay got a facial and a fresh haircut too. Talked about that, baby.
Very important, man. When I got my facial, well, just kind of backtrack. Seeing her getting her hair done, seeing her getting her eyebrows done, you know, her nails and all these different things, which is, you know, some of the things that we got taken care of, we don't do often because you were saying like how these things that we do, self-care, it's like it should be a frequent thing, but it's kind of like a luxury, you know, where it should be the other way around.
It's not supposed to be a luxury.
Yeah, it's not supposed to, but just having that experience to do so, it felt really good, and it brought a newness to us, a different type of energy between us, and it's like, man, this is dope.
Yeah.
You know, and I look forward to that being a frequent thing. But like I said, not say we don't take care of ourselves. We do, but it's just certain things like she said, we're just doing away with for right now because we understand we're on a mission right now. We're focused. The time is coming. But as you can see right now, like,
popping. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been really good.
I'm super excited. I was telling him this morning how, you know, I'm super excited to get to a place where I can, you know, get my hair done and my nails done every 3 weeks, get a facial every 2 weeks to a month, get my waxes and massages. And I'm excited for that time. And I know that it's coming really soon. But as for now, you know, got to do them at-home facials. Yeah. At-home massages. Got to do my hair myself, which, as you can see, I have a lot of hair. Yeah. So that's not fun. Yeah. But it'll do for now.
Shoot, I'm grateful. What's on your mind? What's on your heart, baby? What's good?
Okay, cool. So the topic of today is on settling and meeting your partner's needs.
Okay. I did not know about this.
We talked about this in the shower.
We did?
Yes.
Okay, we just didn't.
I didn't.
Settling.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
That's going to be the name of it.
I'm excited.
Settling, meeting your partner's needs.
Okay,
that's what
cool.
I'm thinking.
All right, take it away. What's up?
I don't even know where to begin.
Me either. Settling.
What were we talking about that brought this about?
Well, we was having a conversation about how there are couples in these relationships where, you know, the partner's not meeting the other partner's needs, and they're just dissatisfied in many different ways. Okay. And how that is a common thing, just through conversations we were having, we're just kind of picking up on cues and noticing, like, oh, dang, this is an issue here. Mm-hmm. But why is this happening? What's going on?
So I want to, let's back up to the root of the problem here.
Okay.
Because what we were talking about, I remember this, what we were talking about is we had our photo shoot yesterday, right? And we put little sneak peeks on our stories and stuff, and it's been going up.
Crazy.
Like, it's been crazy. I've never seen so many story replies and story likes and stuff like that on either of our platforms. Yeah. So it's just people love it. Yeah. And one thing our mentor told us when we were up in Chicago, shout out to James and Armani, but one thing that they told us is that people love relationships. When it comes to content, people love relationships. And with us, a lot of people look up to our relationship. And they tell us straight up. We get a lot of DMs in person. People like, man, y'all look good. Like, I love your relationship. I wish I had something like that. Like, the same stuff, right? And we were talking about it this morning, and we said, you know, it feels weird.
It does.
It feels weird for people to look up to our relationship because being real, y'all, like what y'all see, the connection that y'all see, the happiness that y'all see, that's real. That's really real. Yeah. Like this is how our relationship really is on a day-to-day basis. this love that we have for each other, is real stuff. The stuff that we talk about is all real. So we have such a flourishing and happy and fulfilled relationship that when we look at other people's relationships, we kind of get like, I don't know, I wouldn't say upset per se, but we feel some type of way because we're like, how are we in this position? You know, it feels weird for people to be looking up to us. But one thing that Jamal said was that we earned our right to be here. Like, we really did the work to get here. And I was talking about, okay, what did we do to get here? You want to add anything?
Well, I would say this for sure. One thing I learned from being on this journey with you is placing a high value on communication. And we all know that communication is very important. I don't want to sound cliche, but communication and just mastering that art is like a real thing. Like, there's levels to communicating, and it's a never-ending cycle. And one thing that I've realized is that we're continuously communicating
about
all
everything
the time. When issues come up, we don't sweep it under the rug. We address it right then and there. And I'm like, And when we talk with other people, just listen to what they're saying, the first thing that comes to my mind was like, but did you communicate
right? Did you talk to them?
There is a gap in some type of communication between you and your significant other right there. Like, because you wouldn't have that specific issue if it wasn't, well, you would, but like, it's somewhere in there, the issue would have been addressed in some way, shape, or form. Like, there's some missing clarity piece in there. Like, there's something that's just not clear, not clarified right there. And on top of that, I had this thought earlier. I'm glad we're talking about this. I realized the quality and level of my success and our success in this relationship is linked to our ability to clearly and articulate and just communicate.
Yeah.
Overly communicating. The moment we stop communicating, our relationship will start to go down.
Exactly. And this isn't just in a relationship. Let's also talk about the dating phase, because where I feel like a lot of relationships go wrong is that you weren't doing it right from the beginning. And you think that it's going to change, or that person's going to grow, or that you're going to grow in a relationship. But people need to understand that the same stuff that you're getting in dating is the same stuff you're going to get in a relationship, period.
Ain't nothing going to change.
If at the root of things, per se. Like, for example, there's someone that I was talking to who is dating a guy, right? And this guy, he sleeps a lot, never really has time for this person. And she was like, well, they've been talking for like a month. And she was like, well, I mean, I still haven't really gotten to know him that well because we don't really talk as much. And I'm like, okay, well, do you want a partner that talks to you? Do you want a partner that spends time, that has a lot of time to spend with you? Because, I mean, is he going to change jobs? Has he been talking about that? She said no. I mean, he has kids. He spends a lot of time with them. So I'm like, okay, if you want a partner that spends a lot of time with you, then why are you wasting time now? It's been a month. Like, if he's not spending time with you now, he's not going to spend time with you in a relationship down the road.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really going to change, but people think that, oh, maybe this is something that will change over time. I know when I was in the dating world, I would talk to somebody for a week and know if they have behaviors that I either am going to entertain or not going to entertain. Yeah. There was I can think of someone specifically that I dated who was very absent, didn't really talk on the phone that much, didn't really text that much. And I was like, oh, okay, you just must not have time for me. And that's okay. You just don't need to date nobody. So I'm out. Because I understand that if you're not giving me if you're showing signs of things that I do not want up front, that's not going to change. So people don't do that in the dating phase. They don't communicate in the dating phase about things that they desire. They don't communicate about expectations from the jump. From day one, I'm talking to you about things that I want. From the moment that, we talking, we talking or we dating, I'm finna update you. We finna communicate, because if you can't communicate with me now, we not gonna be able to communicate down the road.
Yeah. I feel like we should remove the word dating and replace it with interviewing.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what you're doing. You're interviewing, you're getting to know you, you're diving deeper into this person. And back to your friend you was referencing, I wanted to throw a monkey wrench in there. So, yeah, they've been talking for 30 days and she's still unclear about this person. My question now is, do you think it's a matter of maybe he doesn't know that she likes to talk or something like that? Or is it that maybe they have had conversations about that and she just get the vibe that he's just not a talkative person? Then that's what she need to make a decision on. Okay, is this something that I want to proceed with and entertain going forward?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it could be either things. I mean, I'm not in the relationship, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But the argument that she was making is that they just started talking, so she doesn't feel the need to communicate certain things. Mm-hmm. And personally, that's not how I see dating. Mm-hmm. I feel the need to communicate everything up front, because why am I wasting my time?
Yeah, okay.
And people may disagree with that, but we're just gonna be talking about what got us to the level of success in our relationship that we're in today. Is that we, looking back at when we came together, right, we had certain expectations for each other. We had certain boundaries in place, and we communicated that clearly to each other from the jump. Like, even though we were just now starting to talk again, we clearly communicated these things up front.
Right.
What we did is that we set clear expectations and boundaries from the jump, which a lot of people don't do. Mm-hmm. A lot of people overlook the important things that you need to be looking for in the dating phase. For example, one thing that we've been talking about is intimacy. Oh, yeah. So we've been noticing that there are several people around us and several conversations that we've had where they are not satisfied in the bedroom in their relationship. And if you haven't listened to our very first podcast episode on, I forgot the name of it.
Netflix is called Pleasure.
What?
Pleasure?
I said our first podcast episode.
I thought you was referencing a documentary. I'm sorry. My fault, cuz. My fault.
Okay, well, yes, go watch the documentary Pleasure. We talked about that as well. But if you have not watched our first podcast episode, it was on sex right, in a relationship, developing intimacy, stuff like that. But I feel like one thing that we didn't talk about in that episode was that intimacy starts outside of the bedroom. And we're hearing that a lot of men, from a man's perspective, you think that pleasing your woman comes from, your stroke game or your penis size. But pleasure starts in the things that you do as a man in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. I will say for sure, I leveled up in my relationship and just the art of intimacy when I understood that I had to place more importance on creating intimacy with you outside of the bedroom than placing all of my focus on being able to please you in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. Like, being able to please you in the bedroom should be just the icing on the cake. Should be like, I don't want to say the last thing, but it's the additive, the boost, And as a man, if you can be cold at both, that's the goal, of course. Yeah. But I would say, me communicating to the men right now, the next level of maturity in relationships is your ability to be able to bring that increased intimacy outside of. So how do we increase intimacy outside of the bedroom, which is one of the main things, is being able to effectively communicate with your woman. Do you truly understand her needs, and are you meeting her needs, not just sexually, but the ways that she communicates those needs to you? Because if you're entertaining this queen, whoever you're deciding to be intentional with, you need to be clear on what her needs are, because she is a human being in her own light, and she has those needs. And if she's done the work prior to, relationship, she's clear on those things. So y'all need to be constantly having communication between each other. Hey, what is it that you need? And vice versa, being clear on that. And are you able to meet those needs? If not, you may have to reconsider some things or communicate how can you meet those needs. You see? So place some more value on those things. And there's other ways to meet those intimacy standards outside of the bed. So let's talk about that too.
Yeah. So what you said was super key about the woman knowing what she needs before the relationship. And this is what I talked about, like with dating, is that you have to know up front the type of man that you desire or the type of woman that you desire, or else you're going to end up settling. Like, for example, and let me just toot my man's horn for a second. Jamal has nearly perfected meeting my needs. Like, my cup is always full. I tell him always, like, the man that I desired in my head is him. Like, he is so perfect for me. And it's just, I'm not empty in any area of the relationship. Okay. He's meeting all of my needs. And I noticed that is a very rare thing in relationships, is that most of the time, both partners are not filled in every single area of the relationship. And we're taught that that's supposed to be okay. But I'm telling you right here and now that it exists. You can have a partner that fills all of your needs.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a requirement. Now that I have a relationship that is like that, I do not want anything else. And I also desire this for everybody else.
Likewise.
This is too beautiful for everyone not to experience. Okay.
Well, I want to say I appreciate you, Queen, for just edifying me in that way. That makes me want to go harder and be a better man for you. Thank you, Queen. But and to add on to that, do you mind unpackaging that a little bit more? Let's talk about, if you want to share, like, what some of your needs are.
Yeah.
And how am I meeting those needs? And go into explanation of how can men get started on meeting their woman's needs.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it. So, my biggest need, and this also has to do with Jamal as a man, because meeting this need comes very naturally to him. And this is why I say it's super important for women to know the type of man that they desire and the values they want their man to have. Because let me just say, for example, with our relationship, Jamal is a very driven man. He is very studious. He's very curious. He's very consistent and persistent. He's very intense when it comes to his education and his execution. And I love that. And because he is this way, I know that he's always going to protect and provide for his family. Because I know that he is that as a man, that is something that he does and focus on and values, I feel like I never personally have to worry about him finding a way to protect and provide for our family. And for me as a woman, I need that. I am super feminine. We've talked about this. I am super feminine. I'm very go with the flow. Worrying about how we're going to figure things out, that stresses me out to the point where I become stagnant. So when I'm able to relax in the fact that my man is going to find a way, and not saying that I don't work, because I've been putting in that work too. I've been building my brand. I've been building my course, which is on the way. Like, I've been building my businesses. We have different endeavors outside of each other. We have our own individual businesses, and that's great. However, in this entrepreneurial space and where we are right now, we're in a war zone. We are in that season of figuring it out, being hustlepreneurs, right? But I'm glad that I have a man beside me that thrives in that, because that's his personality. That's who he is as a man. So when I was looking for a partner, that was something that I looked for because I knew that a man like that is the only man that could meet that need for me. So that's why I said it's very important while you're dating to know what your needs are, but also to look for a man that can naturally fulfill those needs. Why would you settle for someone who isn't like who isn't driven in his job, doesn't really have like a purpose or a dream or a goal, and you know that you're a woman that's going to need that? But a lot of women don't do that.
Yeah.
Instead, we look at the material things and we look at the height and we look at the surface level characteristics of a man instead of looking deeper to see, okay, is this man someone that can fulfill my needs?
Yeah. Keep going, by the way, but I just want to add this in there. Not to say don't place value on the looks and stuff like that, too, because that's
my man
important,
fine.
too. Appreciate that, baby. But I also want to say, hey, y'all, don't get it twisted. My queen, she puts in that work. And I would not be with her if I didn't see a sense of, grind, hustle. And it's in her because I'm watching it every day. And not saying that she needs me to provide, not, to take care of her, because she can take care of herself. And she was doing that prior to me, But what we're saying is you know what you need. It doesn't have to be like that all the time. Seeing that she sees these qualities in me and knowing that what I wanted and what I need in a woman, I didn't want to be with a woman that just feel like they can't do for themselves, can't think for themselves, can't be open-minded. Like, that's the most annoying thing. Not saying this, I'm not bashing women like that, but I was clear on what I wanted, what I needed for me to be able to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to have a woman that, yes, she can take care of herself, but she understands that she doesn't have to take all that weight on by herself. And she thrives and she's at her best when she has a man that has that leadership, that providing type energy and bring that to relationship and that gives her a break so she can be best in her feminine way. You feel me? And I think that was important. I wanted to just kind of clarify that too.
Yeah, we talk about submission a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you as a man, you need a woman that's able to submit to you because you are so forward focused. You're focused on the vision, the dream, and I trust you because I know who you are as a man. I can trust you.
That's important.
And you can also trust me.
Right.
And that's incredibly important to have a person that values the same things that you value, because that is what builds trust. And we talk about this all the time, is about finding people that align with the same thing that you align with, values wise, right? But aside from that, another thing that I feel like I need in the relationship is somebody with the ability to communicate with me. And Jamal has grown a lot. Jamal has grown a lot in this area. And that's something I wanted to touch on as well. Stop trying to change people. I'm going to say that again. Stop trying to change people. I don't know why women be treating dating like Build-A-Bear Workshop.
Damn.
But stop trying to build people. If you are dating and you see that this man don't know how to communicate, you have to decide within yourself, am I okay with a man that does not know how to communicate? If he does not change, not saying that he can't and not saying that he won't, but saying that that is his decision to make, you cannot make him change, period. If he changes, that is his decision and his decision only. There's nothing you can do and nothing you can say to make a man change. He'll come to that conclusion on his own. If you did not hear that, then you need to rewind it and listen to that again, because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of women out there right now. They're like, oh, well, maybe he'll change. No, he's not. He's not going to change. Not because of you, at least. I don't care if y'all got kids. I don't care if y'all married. He's not going to change for you. Vice versa. Same with men and women. She not going to change for you either. She going to look like she changing for you. On the surface, it's going to look like she changed. But deep down, she ain't really changed. You need to understand that.
Ooh, that is so cold-blooded. That is so major key right there. Yes, I've come a long way. Just looking back from where I started with our journey, just the way I communicate, I was like a little boy.
You didn't communicate.
I did not communicate at all, and it's linked to my family don't communicate. They don't talk.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to know how to communicate? Yeah, I was great in other areas, but I realized the caliber of a woman that you are, if I wanted to meet your standard and get to your level, I had to step my game up in communicating, point blank, period. And it wasn't that I was changing for you. I was, like I said, I was getting clear, and I was clear on with the type of woman that I want. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect at that moment, but I knew for myself, for me to be able to level up as a man outside of you, one of the most valuable things that I need to master and dedicate the rest of my life to, and this will help you become better in other areas of your life, is communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Once I realized this, I was like, oh, and I'm just so thankful that I was blessed with a queen who was already great at communicating and on a path to even becoming better at it. I was like, oh, I'm willing to put my ego to the side and become a student. Like, babe, I told you, like, babe, I suck at this. I suck at this. I truly desire to become a better man for me first, but also I want to be a better man for you in this relationship. I need your guidance and helping me to communicate. And I just went on a journey, and I just dedicated myself to being a better communicator. I still got a long way to go, but we've come a long way.
And I'm glad that you said that about not doing it for me, but doing it to become a better man overall. There is a difference between changing for someone and being influenced to change by someone. Same with my health journey. Like, I knew that Jamal was not going to settle for a woman who did not put health at the center of her life. I knew that was a thing. Okay? But especially the first time that we dated, I wasn't that woman. Look, I did not work out. I was cooking pasta like every day. I loved me some pasta with some chicken. I would get that heavy whipping cream and put my own cheese in there. That tri-blend of cheese. Baby, that was me. That was definitely me.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, and when he exposed me to veganism, that changed my world. And I recognized that it's not that I was becoming vegan in order to please him. That's something that's not sustainable. If you're changing for somebody, that's not going to sustain you, because deep down, that's not who you are. So I had to undergo a change within myself where I started to value veganism because of what I wanted for myself and my health and my family moving forward. So I changed by your influence and not in order to please you. And that's huge. But what I was saying is, yeah, you can't make someone change. So when it comes to dating somebody, and when it comes to thinking about being in a relationship or thinking about marriage or whatever, you have to look at that person and think, if he stays this way for the rest of our lives, would I be okay with that? If the answer is no, then you need to reconsider the relationship. Period. And y'all know, or if you don't know me, you about to know, I am the breakup queen.
Yeah.
I am the first one. All of my friends, do not call me unless you want to hear the truth. Do not DM me unless you want to hear the truth. I will tell you firsthand, break up. Break up. And I will tell you this before you get into a marriage where breaking up isn't as easy. And the reason why I am such an advocate for breaking up is because I'm designing t-shirts right now. So they coming out real soon, and I'm super excited for it.
They cold too.
They real cute. But because relationships are not supposed to be that hard. It's really not that hard. If your relationship is hard, you are in the wrong relationship. Period. Period. And I promise you, it is so much easier to fix your relationship as individuals than trying to force it as a couple.
Say that again, baby.
It is so much easier to fix your relationship as individuals than it is as a couple. Breaking up was the best thing that we could have done. Because, like I said, you are not going to change. You are not going to undergo a deep change within yourself for somebody else, for the relationship. You're not going to do that. If you really want to change, then you have to figure out how to change for yourself. So the best thing that you can do for your relationship is break up. If it's not fixable, like if there are some things that you are not satisfied with, that it does not seem like it's going to change, you've had the conversation, hey, I don't like this and I really wish that this would change. If you've had that conversation and it does not seem like that's going to happen, and I'm not talking about waiting 2-3 years for this person to change. I'm not even saying waiting 2-3 months for this person to change. When I tell Jamal that he needs to work on something, it gets fixed. Why? Because deep down, he values becoming a better man. So I know if I bring a blind spot to the table, he's going to fix it for himself.
Yep.
So if your partner is not like that, if there are certain things that need to change, that's not working, you need to break up. The only way that person is going to change in that area is if they do it on their own. Period. So if you are having second thoughts about your relationship, 9 times out of 10, it's because you need to break up.
Boom. Boom.
I'm sorry. I get super passionate about that.
As y'all see, I just let her do her thing right there, because that was some straight heat right there. I agree with that, Queen. And it was something that you said. I want to double back. Going back to 2 things. The first one is we didn't force change on each other. That's very, very key. We were great at influencing each other and helping each other to see the value in what it is that we was bringing to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's very key. And I think that for everybody else, y'all need to truly understand that as well. Don't try, like, I'm not finna go in the whole rant, like she said it all, like, not trying to force people to change. Look, this is what I value. This is my standard. I'm presenting to you. Is either you gonna meet that standard or you ain't. I love you enough to influence you because I'm influencing myself first. And like she said that if there's something about me that I need to change, she's gonna address it to me. I'm not gonna just change her out the rip. I'm like, nah, for what?
Yeah.
Here is when I change. It's when she presents something to me and she helped me to clearly understand why I need to make these necessary changes. And it's through the process of clarifying why I need to, where I take that information and I go internally and I have my own internal dialogue within self and come to a conclusion within myself to see if I truly understand the value as to why I need to make these adjustments. Not only for the sake of myself as a man, but for the sake of this relationship.
Yep.
And then when I come out of that and I make peace with that, put my ego to the side, because before all that, there's already an understanding between us that I love you and I trust you, and you're not going to bring anything to me. You're not going to tell me anything that's going to bring me down, just to belittle me. No, you're going to always continue to bring something to the table for me because you genuinely want to see me be a better man overall, and you truly deeply love me.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew that beforehand. So anything that you come to the table with, I may not necessarily change right then, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to you communicate why. I'm going to take it in, I'm going to process it, and I'm going to come back out. If it makes sense, all right, cool.
Yep. And y'all, okay. The only time that we truly, truly argue is when he don't communicate with me.
Yep, that's the only time.
Literally the only thing that I really get pissed off about in our relationship is when he don't communicate with me. And again, that's something that we're working on. And the reason why I'm okay with that is because eventually he does communicate with me. It may take a couple hours, but he does. But in that time period, in that couple hours, I do get frustrated. But that does not happen often. So I just want to get that clear. That is something that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And I know that you're getting better because I can see that you're getting better over time.
Yeah, and that's been a continuous journey for us. That's every relationship has their thing that they're progressively working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. But I will say for sure, when it comes to that, we've come a long way. A long way. We're still growing. And I'll be the first to say it. A lot of the time it's because my ego won't allow me to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
It boils down to an ego thing.
Sorry about that, y'all. Our camera got the memory card was full. So yeah, we straight now. So babe, what was that book that you were talking about?
The book is called The Ego is the Enemy. It's something, it's been a minute since I read it. Ego is the Enemy, but the author's name is Ryan Holiday. All men should read that book. Mandatory, for sure.
Yeah. And I was going to say that ego definitely gets in the way. And one thing that I will say that I love about our relationship is that we're both learning to master our egos. And women, when it comes to knowing how to address your man, communication is important, yes. But what's most important is how you communicate. Because that ego is something that's difficult for a man to overcome. It's harder for a man to overcome his ego than a woman, I will say. Even though we do have egos, it's a little bit easier for us to put it aside because we're so compassionate, we're so emotions based that it's a lot easier for us to put our ego aside than it is for men.
Yeah, let me say this, Queen. To the women, to the queens out there, this is very important, please. When you're communicating to your man, to your king, always make sure that you're communicating from a place of maturity and not from a place of insecurity. Because you can literally say something that can just break him to the point to where he can't shake it.
Yep.
And if you do that, it doesn't matter what you say to try to build him back up. He's going to always remember that. You know, because that's very, very important. And it's vice versa. Mm-hmm. Don't say something that's low blow. The goal should be to always be elevating, continuously submitting your ego and communicating from a place of maturity, because like words are powerful. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You can literally say something that can just end the game for your partner. Mm-hmm. Very key, very important.
If you want your man to change something, attacking his ego is not the way to go. Mm-hmm. You are not going to win against a man's ego. Trust me. You are not. And remember, I said that if you want your man to change, then he has to do it on his own, right? So if you immediately attack his ego, now he's defensive. Yep. Now he can't even process what you were trying to say and run it through his own filter because he's too busy defending himself now. So if you really want your man to change, attacking his ego ain't gonna cut it. If you're gonna communicate, again, you cannot make him, but you have to communicate it in a way to where he can run it through his own filter and decide if that's what he wants to do for himself. But if you're attacking his ego, that's not gonna work. So one thing that I have to do with Jamal, and sometimes his ego does step in, okay, it's hard. We're still learning each other. We're still learning each other when it comes to navigating ego, okay? That's a difficult place in a relationship, and I feel like a lot of couples struggle with that. But one thing that I know with him is that I have to speak life into the man that I know he can be rather than tearing down the man that he is now. For example, we talked about this before on the podcast where he wouldn't call out his friends when he knows that his friends is doing something wrong, right? So instead of being like, well, you must not be tough, like you gonna let that man walk all over you like that, like instead of being like that, what I said instead was, babe, I really do believe that as a man, it would take you to the next level if you learned how to communicate with your guy friends about ways that they can improve. It's really going to elevate your relationships. It's going to elevate our relationship if you learn how to have those crucial conversations like that. Mm-hmm. You see the major difference? Yep. I'm telling him about how doing something, how changing something will help him grow as a man within himself and in his relationships. I'm not tearing him down. Mm-hmm. You have to know how to speak life into your man. A woman's words are so powerful, like he said. One little thing you could say, and all of a sudden that's all he can think about. Now he's trying to fix a problem that's not really the problem.
Shit. I'm just... So many gems, babe.
Thanks, babe.
Also, another thing, too, was very important as well in regards to the way that you communicate, a communication style. One thing that I do and continuously getting better, I have to catch myself because I do the opposite sometimes, because you'll catch it sometimes in a relationship when your partner is not doing something that you want for them to do, but you really want them to be like this. It's easy to project onto them how you want them to be. Mm-hmm. And one thing I had to realize, like, yo, she said that she values what you value.
Here we go.
Don't try to force it. Give her time to grow and develop in this manner in a way that is conducive to her journey. She's going to have to, he or she is going to have to show up in a way that's in alignment with them. It's okay to be at a different level. Mm-hmm. When whatever the value is, you don't have to be right here. And other things, like, yes, it's good to be like level-headed, but there's going to always be something that's just not just there yet. But long as that person, that your significant other, your king, your queen, is continually reminding you, communicating, like, hey, I see the value in this. I'm choosing to show up today in the best way that I can. I may fall short, but I'm going to continue to fight and show because I see the value for myself and why this is important in our relationship. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, it would be an issue if you say you value one thing, but your actions are not showing it, of course. Mm-hmm. I say all that to say, well, I've learned that it is very, very, very important for you to praise what you want to be seen and repeated. For example, Queen been going crazy in the gym lately. And that's something that was a standard. That was something that I need in a relationship because I value health and fitness. Because we're getting older, we're not getting younger. Yeah. You look at people in the world, our peers, and just people our age is just let themselves go. Why is that the case? Well, I'm like, no, this ain't us. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I do is I'm continually like, babe, the way you did such and such and such, the way your body is just looking so good right now. Even though we were both clear that, like, okay, it's just certain things that just we're continuously working on. But as we're on that journey, I'm continuously praising her, reminding her to stay focused, stay forward focused. You're doing a great job. You're doing really, really great, and you're on your way. Mm-hmm. I'm continuously praising you. And it doesn't just have to be fitness and health, but whatever area you want to see progression in. So that is how you help your partner progress. Don't tear them down like, bro, why you doing that? Yeah. Stop, like, let's get on my nerve. Like, nah, praise them because it's going to encourage them to want to keep going and better because they know they may not be just where you're at. Help them get to where you're at by being their biggest supporter and cheerleader on that journey.
Mm-hmm. That's so key, babe. Yeah. One thing that I mean, I don't know your relationship, but if you're not affirming your partner constantly, and I mean like most of the words that come out of my mouth on a day-to-day basis are praising him and affirming him, because I want him to keep doing what he's doing. Like I've just been like, babe, you're just an amazing man. You're everything that I could have asked for. You're meeting all of my needs. I feel so fulfilled in this relationship. Thank you for taking care of our family. Thank you for putting in that work daily. I see you working hard. Imagine how that makes him feel.
Oh, oh, I'm ready to get up next day and go hard.
Every day. And every day I'm telling him that, because that's something that I know is going to fuel him and fuel the relationship. You have to speak life into what you want. Don't be so quick to tear that person down.
Mm-hmm.
I know that if he knows that I'm satisfied and he knows that I'm pleased, that's going to hype him up. He going to feel ready to keep the insane with me. When he tell me, babe, your body looking good, and I'm going to be real, my body is not where I want it to be. And y'all might be looking at me like, girl, look, we all got our goals, okay? I love my body for where it is, but I know where I want it to be.
Let's take health and fitness off the table, because we know that I don't want to just be like, oh, that's what I just care about. But what's another thing that I'm continuously encouraging and praising you in?
What comes to your mind?
Mm, what comes to
Right, because
my
that'd
mind?
be the main one.
But there's more though.
There's more. There's more. Um, but I cannot think.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too.
That's so funny.
That is better. I just want to make it clear, like, I don't want to make it seem like that is. Well, we can both say that coming into this relationship, health and fitness, it was obviously a true value for me, and in this area, these areas, it was something that it just wasn't there where I'm at yet, but
Yeah.
and there was just some level of progression and growth that need to be worked on. But compared to where you were to where you are now, huge difference.
That's definitely not the only thing, but I will say that's the thing that he pours into me the most about. Just how communication is the thing that I pour into him most about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we know that those are the areas that need to be improved for each of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that we don't glorify other things and affirm other things. It's just that those are at the top of our list, because naturally we do the other things just fine.
There you go.
We naturally do the other things just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So every other area feels like, okay, you told me this was way back 20 minutes ago, but you were talking about ways that you're fulfilling my needs in a relationship. And I also want to talk about ways that I'm fulfilling your needs too. But another thing that he's fulfilling is intimacy. And y'all, I want to talk about intimacy for a second. And it's two things that I want to talk about with intimacy, two sides of it.
Okay.
Remember I brought up earlier about people not feeling sexually satisfied in their relationship. And I was having the conversation with Jamal. I have my waves. Like some periods I'm sex crazy. I want to hop on you every day. Some periods I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather just cuddle up and watch a movie. Okay? But during those times, I'm not necessarily attracted to the act of sex per se. Like a man. Like a man, wants to have sex. But that's not what makes me want to have sex. It's not the act of sex that makes me want to have sex. It's the man that you're being towards me. For couples that are struggling with sex in the relationship, like you're not meeting each other's needs, I encourage you, before you start attacking the problem of sex, to first attack the problem of, are your needs being met in the relationship? Because Jamal meets my needs in every area of the relationship, I'm so much more attracted to him, so much more willing to have sex more often, because I'm filled, I'm full. That's intimacy to me. When he's meeting my needs, when he's considering me, that's sexy to me. I'd be like, "Ooh, babe, thank you. Thank you for doing your part. Thank you for being a man. Let me get that back to you." So if sex is a problem in your relationship, I encourage you to ask yourself, is my partner's needs being met to begin with outside of the bedroom? That's one part of intimacy that I wanted to talk about. But an area that Jamal has grown in a lot, because the first time around, it was a struggle. Yeah. We have very different love languages. If you have not taken the love language test, then you need to go do so. But I'm very much so quality time and physical touch. That is me. I need to be touched on all the time. We need to be touching, and then even when we set up our desks now to where like the computers are facing each other, so we can see each other. It's hard to explain, but we have like a little stool under the desk where we can both prop our feet up, and that's intimacy to me. The fact that our legs are touching while we're working, that's intimacy to me. And Jamal is very acts of service and words of affirmation, and at first, when we first dated, we were very much so loving each other from what we wanted. Jamal is a servant leader all day long. He will serve and serve and serve and serve me. But that's not how my cup is filled. I appreciate it and I love it, but that's not how my cup is filled. And I would snuggle all up on Jamal all day, and not saying that he hated it, which, I mean, he did not like it, but he's learned a lot to love that. But that never filled his cup. So we had to learn how to fill each other's cup in that aspect, in intimacy. I feel like a lot of relationships are missing that intimacy and always equate that to sex. But that's not truly the problem.
Wow. As you was talking, I was just thinking about examples of just little things that we do. I noticed a shift in just our day, starting from the time you woke up. And you don't notice, but I woke up at like 5 a.m., 5:30 this morning, right? And I went into the other room and I meditated. And I meditated on my day. What did I want my day to look like, be like?
Okay, y'all, we are not having the best of luck today because the camera just died. Camera full, camera died. So we gonna pray that where we start is where we left. Okay. So, babe, what were you saying about how we started our day today?
Executive decision.
What?
New camera. That is our next investment.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, side note, we have a Canon M50, which is a great vlogging camera if you're a YouTuber. If you're trying to shoot a podcast, not so much, because it has a 29-minute recording limit, meaning that we have to stop it every 30 minutes. But also, battery life is not that great either. It lasts maybe like an hour to an hour and a half. So, just side note, we got to get a new camera.
Yeah. Shaking on it?
Yes.
There you go. All right. But proud of us for getting started on our journey, because we could have used that as an excuse to not start.
We got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. So now we're at a place where we need to elevate, go to that next level. But the last thing I was talking about is, because we was clear on the things that we needed and we were able to serve each other in that way, by us not verbally saying it, our energy spoke for us, and we were able to build on top of that. Because when your energies align and you're clear on what each other needs, you don't have to do a lot of talking, you just know. And that just helps the overall flow into the dynamics between us in our relationship. You don't have to do a lot of talking when you're super, super clear. Not saying don't talk, but just, I want that for everybody. You get into a place where you just know how to move and maneuver.
You understand your partner's needs, and they're at the forefront of your mind.
Exactly.
So, just in case it's cut off in the wrong place, what Jamal was talking about was how this rising, the first thing that he did was, well, he woke up way earlier than me, but he went to go meditate and focus on how he wanted the day to go and how he wanted our relationship to be. And then he came in and loved on me. Like, he woke me up with kisses and hugs, and we cuddled for a second, and that really rejuvenated me to the point where I got up and I got my day started, and I went to in the kitchen to, fix us up something so that we could have something on our stomachs for us to go to the gym. And I thought, hey babe, you want oatmeal, you want a smoothie, what do you need this morning? So now I'm giving back that love language to him. So it's super important to understand that dynamic in your relationship and understand what that other person what would elevate that other person and energize that other person in their day. And I'm glad that you mentioned starting off the days that way, because a lot of people just get up and they jump straight into their routine. They got to go to work. They got to take care of the kids. They got to do all this stuff. And I could see how that could become draining over time, when what you can do is make sure that you focus the rising times on catering to each other's needs and making sure that each other are filled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And don't forget this part too, y'all. Like, remember, I woke up early and I took care of my needs first, but she was still asleep, so they gave me the time to take care of my needs first. But outside of the relationship, you come first for you, I come first for me. I took time to myself first, and then I took care of my queen to see what she needed, make sure she was good before giving myself off to the world.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say I did the same thing. So after he came in there and hugged and kissed on me, I went in there and brushed my teeth, and then I lit up my sage, and I went in the living room and I meditated.
Yep.
And then I got up and asked, okay, babe, what do you need this morning?
Yep. That's very, very important, because I don't need you to think that, like, I'm just your world.
Yeah.
So vice versa. So major key.
Most definitely. I remember when I was on Jonathan's podcast about the blow up. But yeah, if you haven't checked out his podcast, go do that. But when I was on that podcast, we talked about filling your cup in and outside of a relationship, and how do you fill your cup as a single person while you're in a relationship. And he was saying that he watches our relationship and we're constantly just pouring into each other's cup all the time. And I want to say that we've gotten to a place in our relationship where we know for sure that we don't need each other, but that doesn't mean that we don't need each other. If that makes sense. Like, if he were to walk out today, if I were to walk out today, we know that we would be straight. We'd figure it out. Our lives would not crumble. We'd figure it out. We'd have our own separate identities outside of the relationship, which is super important to maintain. However, we also understand, and we talked about this the other day, are we comfortable with the fact that we spend a lot of time together? Are we comfortable with the fact that our worlds are so intertwined and that we are very dependent on each other financially in a lot of ways? Like, our lives are intertwined. Like, we live in this house together. We're both running our businesses together. Our finances are intertwined. So we're very dependent on each other, but we don't need each other. You see what I'm saying? It's finding that balance within the relationship and what works for y'all. And I want to say this as well. Just because it works for somebody else's relationship does not mean it will work for yours, and vice versa. If something works for your relationship, then all you have to do is both of you have to be comfortable with that. For example, my aunt, Aunt Takaya, love you. But when she was doing my hair, we were talking about her marriage and the dynamic that her and my uncle have. And she was saying that they're both very introverted, so they spend a lot of time like in the same house but in separate rooms and just kind of doing their own thing. And she loves that about their relationship. They love that about their relationship, and that's what works for them. They've been married a long time, and it works, right? For our relationship, we spend a lot of time together, and I had to ask Jamal, I was like, is that okay? Do you feel like you need space? Like, do you feel like we need to spend more time apart or more alone time? And we're at a place where no, like we can be alone. We just don't feel the need to be.
Yeah.
And we value the alone time that we do have, like when I'm out or he's out or we're doing our separate activities that we do. We enjoy that, but we're okay with being up under each other.
Right. And we had to, back to communicating.
Yeah.
Clearly communicating, hey, is this okay? And not to say like we don't have our own alone time. We do have our times where we do spend time to self, because that's very, very, very important too, right? But we can't ignore the fact that we do spend a great deal of time with each other.
We do.
And I'm completely okay with that. Me personally, I love it.
Me too.
And as you were speaking, another thing I wanted to say too was, yes, we're very clear on the fact that we don't need each other.
Yeah.
And that should be the goal to get to off the rip.
Yeah.
In a relationship. Understanding, like, because there is no, like, codependency. But there is codependency, but not that toxic codependency.
Yeah.
We don't have that toxic codependency because we are continuously doing the internal work with self and just growing, and we have reached that level. We're continuously, reaching whatnot. But I lost my point. Oh man, okay, shoot it.
Boop.
I got it.
Okay.
But so yeah. Even though we are codependent in a healthy way, I'm an advocate for that. We do want each other though.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that one of the best feelings in the world is knowing that you're wanted. And a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
And that makes me extremely grateful for this relationship, just knowing that you're with a partner who's healthy and who is in a place within their self that they know that they don't need you. But they need you, but they don't. But they deeply want you. And they're choosing you. That's amazing. I'll take that any day. So I'm grateful.
Same, baby.
So yeah.
And I want to talk about this needing thing, because as an independent black woman who don't need no man, and all of us who might be experiencing that, or who got our own house, got our own car, got our own job, our own money, we take care of ourselves, we do our own thing. It can be difficult for a man to come in and start taking on those other roles. And we had to find balance here, because in our previous relationship, I was very toxically codependent on Jamal. And so, as you can imagine, when we came back around, it's still kind of scarring. Like, he's still kind of skeptical as to whether I am still dealing with my codependency issues, right? So, a pivotal point in our relationship was when I was like, okay, Jamal, look, you need to understand, I do not need you. If this is how we're going to move, if you want me to continue not needing you in any way, then you need to let me know. But if you want me to submit to you and to look up to you and give you the opportunity, give over a little bit of my power so that you can take care of me, if you want me to do that, then you need to let me know. But you're not about to throw this, oh, well, you're dependent on me in my face. It's a choice. To submit is a choice. But you have to know whether you both are ready for that type of commitment in your relationship. Because that's a commitment. When Jamal said, okay, I want you to submit to me, I had to relinquish my power now. Now, instead of just making decisions for myself, financial decisions for myself, now I'm relinquishing that power to him. I'm giving him that authority to do that. And that's not a bad thing if that's what you want in your relationship.
Yeah. Dive deeper into that healthy submission, because a lot of people, that's scary for a lot of women to do so.
Yeah.
Or they may look at it from a place of you let him run you over you, or stuff like that. But really shine light on why that's important, and how you got to a place where you was safe enough to even do that when you didn't have to do that in the first place.
Let me switch this onto the man for a second.
Okay.
Because that's it's going to answer your question.
Okay.
But let's talk about my mom. So my mom is the super epitome of strong, independent black woman that don't need no man. That is my mother. Okay. And I've had conversations with her about, being more feminine, learning to submit to men and stuff like that. And she said that she feels like if a man came along that made her feel safe enough to submit, then she would do that. But she hasn't met one yet. Wow. And let the media be on black women about being strong and independent or whatever, and how that's a bad thing, and how black men, that's why they run away to other races or whatever. But let's talk about the black man for a second and talk about, are you someone that the independent black woman can submit to in the first place? Because if we don't feel safe, we're not going to submit to you. Period. The reason why we've adopted this strong, independent persona is because we have been told over and shown over and over and over again that we cannot rely on men to do those things for us. So if, like, these men glorify the strong, independent black woman, but don't want to live up to the man that they need to be in order to take care of a woman like that. Because if you want me to submit to you, then you got to take care of me better than I take care of my own self. The reason why I was able to submit to Jamal is because he proved to me, babe, I got this under control. Like I said earlier, he is the type of man who is committed to his vision and his dream. He's going to get it done. He going to hustle. He going to put in that work. I know that for sure, whether I'm here or not. He going to do that. So I was able to submit in my finances to him because I know he can handle our finances better than I can, because I'm a go with the flow, free, fleeting type person. So I know that he can handle that. He can take care of me better in that area than I can take care of myself, to be real. So that's why I was able to submit. I know that he's able to protect me in ways that I can't necessarily protect myself. I'm going to try. If you weren't here, I'm going to try. Okay? But I trust him to replace me in that area and protecting myself. I know that he can protect me, therefore I don't feel the need to protect myself when he's around. So if you really want that independent woman to submit to you, you have to make sure that you're doing what she already does for herself and then some.
Yeah. Boom. And not even just, and yes, for sure, like financially, but for sure, the major other areas as well.
Yeah.
As men, getting to the bag is easy, bro. We all, like, it's just in us. We can all get to the bag, but can you get to the bag in the other areas just as important or even better?
Let's talk about emotionally for a second, because a lot of men don't know how to do that.
Yeah, get into that emotional bag.
Like, one thing that me and my mom talk about is that she has a wall up, right? And it's hard for her to emotionally communicate how she feels to a man because she doesn't believe that man can handle it. She doesn't believe that man can handle her emotions. And I understand. I've been there. A man that just doesn't know how to respond or how to receive emotions. And that's draining for a woman, because we need a man that can emotionally handle us. We are emotional beings. If you put us in a state where we feel like we cannot trust you emotionally, then we can't really submit. We can't really be in our feminine, which is draining for us. So also, I had to get to a place where I could trust Jamal with my emotions. This is how I saw that through his ability to communicate.
I was gonna say, what does that look like?
It looks like him communicating with me. Like, it got to a place, and women also at the same time, there's balance in that, because if you do not give him an opportunity to show you that he can be emotionally available, then how will you ever really know? So it also starts with, as the woman, tearing down those walls to see how he reacts to it. Now, if he reacts poorly to it, now you have your answer, but it has to start somewhere, right? So as I started being more emotionally vulnerable with him, and I recognized that he wasn't tearing me down or dismissing my emotions. Once I noticed that, and I noticed that he was being more empathetic, more understanding with my emotions, and I was like, okay, I can submit to you now. This is no longer a dating game of who's gonna text who gonna say what first. No. He showed me that he can handle my vulnerability, and I showed him the same. We talked about this before, as well as being transparent with your partner and creating a safe space so that they can feel okay to be transparent with you. Jamal can talk to me about anything. And I mean absolutely anything.
Yeah.
And it's because he knows that no matter what he brings to the table, I'm not going to react in a way that is negative. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not finna scream at you. I'm not finna tear you down. I'm not finna hurt your ego. He knows that. Therefore, he feels comfortable coming to me and talking to me about things.
And the level of maturity it takes to even get to that place to where a man can come to his woman and talk to her about anything.
And trust me, there have been some things that we've talked about that has hurt my feelings.
Yo, I'm grateful, bro. And that just says a lot about you. Just the growth within yourself to even get to that place. Because a lot of men don't feel safe to have conversations with their woman because they feel and know and feel that their woman is going to react out of just some type of negative way, insecurity or whatever. So the man is going to shut down or they run to somebody else and talk about how they feel because they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we good on that.
Same. So just summing that up, if you really want your partner to submit to you, you have to give them something to submit to. Period.
Wow. This podcast is really dope.
Yeah. I guess it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It kept cutting off and coming back on. I feel like we like 2 hours in.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, we cut off like maybe 2 or 3 times, but I'm hope after we edit it still comes out to be a smooth flowing podcast.
Same.
Yeah, because there was a lot of gems dropped in this podcast. Yeah, for sure.
Ready to wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up. Oh, I told my barber that I was gonna shout him out, but he be getting your boy right. So shout out to my barber, my guy here in Birmingham, Alabama. His name is Nia. They put his Instagram stuff right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Okay.
Cool. But yeah, shout out to my guy. He does facials. He get my skin right. Of course, you can see my cut looks crisp, look good. One of the coldest barbers in Birmingham. Major shout out to you, God. My guy King. Man, what's up? I appreciate you. But yeah, wrap it up, Queen.
I wrap it up every time. How about you try?
You great at it though.
Okay, fine. Next time you got it though.
I got you next time.
Okay,
sure.
great. All right. So if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us. I am at By Nia Love, and my king is at JSco the producer. Okay, go ahead and follow us. I focus on relationships and mindset. Like I've mentioned before, I have a course that's coming out. It was supposed to drop on my birthday, but my mentor and I had some conversations, and I got to go back in the lab and do some things to get it in tip-top shape for you guys. Yeah. So it's going to be coming out in October for sure, okay? For sure. But we'll see where it's going. But that course will be for women who are wanting to build their own confident identity and really refine themselves and learn how to grow from a recent breakup. So for women that are experiencing a breakup, I'm so excited to be working with you. You'll be having the opportunity to work closely with me and work through your emotions and do some deep diving internally, do some shadow work. And I'm I'm super stoked about it.
That's exciting.
I'm also going to be coming out with t-shirts really soon.
Yeah.
And
Fire.
they're really cute. So I'm actually
Fire.
upstairs designing them right now. So that's what I'm going to be getting back to when we're done doing this. I also have I've also started my public speaking career. So if
Let's
you would like
go.
to have me on a podcast or a radio talk show, or if you want me to publicly speak on a stage, like to a group of people, definitely go ahead and DM me, reach out to me. We can honestly, if it's regarding that, we can book a free call, a free consultation call, and we can talk all of that out and get that set up. I would love to do that. And right now I'm doing that for the freezy. So
catch you.
you better get it while
Catch it
it's
before
for
the blow
free.
up.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I do. Now my king.
I got this.
All right.
But first and foremost, that's what I'm talking about. Talk your shit.
Go on, baby.
So as for me and my services and what I do, as you all know, I just changed my name to J-Sco, the producer. A lot of people don't know that I actually was a producer a few years ago. I used to produce music and whatnot. So I am musically inclined. I play multiple instruments and whatnot. I still play, instruments to this day.
Fly on the keys.
Thank you, babe. Thank you. But I was a former producer, but now I'm just a producer in a different light, So I just thought it was a beautiful thing. So, but yeah, J-Sco, the producer. What do I do? Let me tell you. Let's start on the health side.
Okay.
I save people's guts because you know what? Gut disease starts in the gut. And a lot of my people's guts are effed up all the way. And I'm trying to help y'all get y'all stuff right. Let me shout out to one of my clients who recently did a 12-day reset program. And I actually have this service. It's a 12-day reset challenge. It's 12 days of where I basically give you everything that you need step by step to go through a 12-day cleansing and detox for 12 days, right? And my guy dropped about 20 pounds in 12 days.
Woo! That's an accomplishment, baby. People are fighting to lose that weight.
For sure. And also on top of the weight loss, he mentioned to me prior to him doing this challenge, he never ate vegetables. He never ate vegetables at all. Like, it's crazy.
That's common.
It is, but it's wild to think about, right?
Yeah.
So, and of course, we sell herbs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you need help getting started on your health journey, like, get at your boy. I'm do everything in my power to help you get right, educate you, provide you with the resources you need to be successful. But you just got to show up and do the work. I can't do it for you. So that's first and foremost. That's on the health side. On the wealth side, we are launching a credit repair business in less than 30 days. Not saying that you can't come out to me now, but I'm going to officially launch it in October. So that's in the works. So J-Sco Capital in that thing. J-Sco Capital. So credit repair, credit building. If you need, also on top of that as well, we do a done-for-you service where if you want to start a business and you just don't know what to do, where to go, how to start it, reach out. I will start your business for you. I will structure it for you. I'll do everything, set up everything that you need to be set up for so you can have a structured, successful business. And I do all of that for you as well. What else we do? Business funding.
That too.
Yeah. So if you need business funding, get at your boy. I help you with that as well. But what you was about to say, baby?
I just want to toot my king's horn for a second in that my man just got his first 2 paid clients. Not saying that he has not had clients because he's been doing all of this for free. He has how many credit clients that you did for free?
As 8, 9, 10.
10?
Yeah.
Like, he already has 10 clients that he's been working on for the freezy. So he just got his first paid client for credit repair, and I believe that that's awesome. He's going to be launching a subscription-based program that is super affordable, and my baby knows what he's doing. Yeah. Let's just say that he's been putting in the work. He's been studying more than anybody. Okay, you cannot outstudy him. All right. But then also he just got his first paid client with business startup as well.
Yeah.
And not saying he hasn't started businesses, because he has.
Yeah.
And he's definitely gone through the trial of error of practicing on his business and on my business on how to get it properly structured for getting business funding.
Yeah.
So he just got that. And when I tell you that this man has gotten us so much business funding, he's just looking for people to duplicate it through at this point.
Yeah, I'm ready to. It's time to put a price tag on these things now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to come out of the lab and
Yeah.
start charging folks.
For sure, but oh yeah, one more thing too. Just started a Kings Only
Book club.
book club. The first day will be this upcoming Monday on September the 26th. So if you're a king, you want to get amongst other kings, you want to build and grow and read and develop that muscle of reading every day, come holler at me. We'll get started. But yeah, that's
it.
How was that?
That was great, babe.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that is our time. So we love you. Definitely, please reach out to us and let us know how we did. If you were able to apply some of these things to your relationships, we would love to hear some feedback on how we're doing with this whole podcast thing. So definitely hit us up. Let us know that you tuned in. All right.
I got a question.
What?
What's for lunch?
Guess I gotta go cook for my man, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.